the Konnekt Live mid-month Brisk. Mwezi ikienda kutoka kona, pia tuweze kuongea kuhusu the car buying process, because people are about to start getting paid, and these are the times when people start, buying cars. But what is the process of buying a car? But before we start, I would like to start by thanking you guys for 50,000 subscribers. Asanteni sana. And each and every member of Auto Konnekt is grateful for this milestone. Tunawashukuru sana for working with us through this journey, and this is just a tip of the iceberg. Sawa sawa. So kama kawa kama dawa, we start by sending those salamus so that we can know where you are, where you're watching us from, and even say something. Ni vizuri tuanze kupiga ma intro before tuingie kwa show, as we normally do it on Konnekt Live, because again, Auto Konnekt is the only car channel, even after 50,000 subscribers, that is going to guarantee you an alluring motor vehicle experience. And I'll be your host, Eric Wakabi, Eric with a CK. Na before mwanze kutuma salamu, wacha niwachapie story, wacha tuanze na hadithi. Over the weekend, I drove an electric car from Mombasa to Nairobi, and it's probably the longest trip I have had on that road. It was an interesting one, though. At least I can say I am the first man in Kenya to drive an electric vehicle from Mombasa to Nairobi, one with a range of 300 kilometers. Na mwenye ameenda akicharge na kwa place za wase wa kuchomelea. So that is a country record that I have broken. Tuko pamoja. The other thing is, remember we have a partnership with Grande Motor Imports. Again, this weekend we were able to deliver another vehicle that was imported by one of our clients here. Now, we normally film our live sessions at Grande Motor Imports, and we have had these strategic partnerships to allow you ship cars from overseas in a safe and hassle-free way, keeping the quality high and the hassle low. Sawa sawa. So yeah, we delivered that Tiguan, and it was a beautiful car, grade 4.5. We had a lot of fun with Tom driving it from Mombasa all the way to Nairobi. Hiyo ni gari iko na nguvu sana. It's the Tiguan 2.0 TDI for motion. It was a grade 5, very clean vehicle. Drives like a dream. Talk yake iko sawa sana. So thank you so much. This coming week we'll be delivering the Nissan Serena e-Power. Na kwa njia bado tuko na gari inaitwa Mazda CX-5, probably the highest trim you have seen yet. Na tuko na pipelines ina come through. So if you would like to import a car, please do it with us, because we have that strategic partnership between Auto Konnekt Kenya and Grande Motor Imports. Tuingie kwa safari. Tunaona first person in class is Nyam Kongo. Na Nyam Kongo anasema karibu sana Auto Konnekt, 50k still growing strong. Asante sana Nyam Kongo, and thank you for always being here for the Konnekt Live. Dennis Katali, Nikondakas Mse, Peter Nganga, student 001 from Republic of Saudi Arabia. Bana, asante sana for watching us from there. We have Stanley Omondi tuned in from Kisumu Dala. Stanley Omondi, salimia Jaudhiwi wa Kisumu. Angore anasema he's in like Maureen. Sijui kwa nini, sijui Maureen alimfanyia nini. Napenda hiyo quote sana. Jay's Garage, Eric from Dagoretti, kazi safi CK. Asante sana Jay's Garage. Tuko pamoja sana. Osman Roba, good evening Eric, watching from Isiolo. Isiolo bana, by the ile barabara ilitengenezwa ile butu ambia wewe uko ground. Zitambia kama ilitengenezwa. WM, hi Eric with a CK watching from Dagoretti. Asante sana. Sasa kuna mtu anaitwa Dennis Katali hapa anasema, can you please post those long drive videos ukitoa Serena e-Power Mombasa na hiyo electric car pia. Hiyo maneno kwa Serena kidogo, hiyo tutabeba na Kakaria, but we are going to give you an up close and candid review of that car once it is here. There are reasons that zitafanya tubebe hiyo gari, but don't worry because we have another one coming na hiyo tutadrive. Sawa? Josh Homan, good to be here. Thank you so much Josh. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Birithi, live from Mazeras. Tulipita hapo jana na Tom na akanunua mabuyu. Who else is here? Alex Njuguna from Ngara, been waiting for this topic. Walai. Abdi Osman. Abdi Osman ameenda wapi? Abdi Osman anasema habari ya week CK, tupo kwa site, tumesalimika sana. Asante sana Abdi. Willy Kaviu, hey Eric, tuko ndani kabisa for the class. Thank you so much Will Kaviu. And just a reminder, we normally have a service center in Eldoret na inaitwa Neon Mobility, na pale kuna kijana anaitwa Ezekiel, and he just completed the first engine rebuild at Neon Mobility, na tuko sawa. Kazi inaendelea freshi. Thank you so much to everyone from Eldoret for supporting Neon Mobility, and keep taking your cars there, because we are there to serve, and we are defined by growth and driven by passion. Tuendelee. We have Cornelius Rono, mtu wa Mogosiek hapa, ile BP5 is now ready for sale. I'll send you the photos. He wants to upgrade to an SG5 turbo. Please do. Simon Karanja tuned in from Lakisama. Simon, uko hapa tu bana, ukiweza kuja to shoot live. By the way, karibuni sana. Osman Roba, explain how effective electric cars are they important in rural areas. Osman, tutaongea hiyo story saa hii tu. Chief Kinyo anasema Eric with a CK, asante sana. Samuel Andati, Simbo Kaba automatic mnauza ngapi? Umevaa takataka ya Pasta Nganga leo. Nini hiyo Pasta Nganga aliita takataka? By the way, hiyo ililipita, but nilisikia kuna kitu aliita takataka. County government inamwitisha 100. I think about 10 million, akasema 10 million takataka. Oh, anyway, Aching Frederick, ndani kama one term ya nani? Okay. Karish Khalifa, congratulations, mimi ni fan wako sana, niko locked. Asante sana Karish. Life Lessons Queen B anasema watching from Tigoni. Tigoni is a beautiful place. Harmless level. Tuned in. Hewo Kabi, can you talk about how Konnekt Passage work in Kenya and how long it can stay? Harmless, nikumbushe hii swali because we have some insights on it. John Kangosin, Chief Kinyua wase wa Kasarani, na waona pale. Odong Joyfree from northern Uganda, your show is great. Thank you so much Mr. Joyfree. And nini? Oh, sawa. Nilikuwa nafikiria mnataka ku poison host. Anyway, this is juice. Funda la juice. So, Odong Jeffrey, we will be coming to Uganda soon. We have a very interesting project for Uganda. And by the way, through the Grand Motor Imports and Auto Konnekt Kenya partnership, we are now officially importing cars to Uganda. We are going East Africa, and we are hoping that we are going to deliver a few units in the coming months. So watu wa Uganda, we got you covered. Sawa Sebos and Yabos. Karota, Uganda. Good evening, family. Watching from Uganda, Maganjo Zone A. The Ugandans are coming. Ugandans, we are coming to your country, and we are going to hold a live session in your country. We are going to bring Grand Motor Imports to Uganda. And we will give these guys, you serve them black tea with mujanja. You know what black tea with mujanja does to let me not talk much. Sawa. Also Ugandans, asante sana, karibu sana, welcome to the show. We love you. That is why we come to vote on your behalf. Sawa. Anyway, let's get to the topic. We'll send those salams baadaye. Okay. Alex, na siku hizi NV200 imewin Probox. Sawa. So, before we start, we also have another Ugandan. His name is Stephen Barungi, live from Uganda. I want to be part of the live session. Yes, Stephen, there is a number. Let me try use Ugandan accent. Stephen, there is a number there that you can send on WhatsApp. It is on the screen. So just drop an inbox, and we are going to contact you once we come to Uganda. Okay. Sawa. So Karota Uganda is laughing. I don't know why. Atiyo isi Jack Daniels. Yekuwa Jack Daniels ningefunga macho. Dominic Kemboy, following closely. Eric from Eldama Ravine. Eldama Ravine is another beautiful place. Eldama Ravine ni ukitaka kuhepa main road ya Eldoret, unaweza pitia hiyo, upitie Nyaru, utokea kule Poa Place. It's a very nice road. Sawa. So I would like us to get to the serious business of the day. And identity rights anasema leo tuone those faces who are behind the camera. Tukimaliza show watakuja hapa muwaone vizuri. Tunakuanga na jenzi yako na experience, tuko na Wangari wa magari. Tom mmemuona. Tom mmemuona. Hiyo anasema ati ni Jack Daniel. Okay, and next week we are going to have a super chat. So let's talk about the car ownership. You know, most guys out here are buying cars the way you would buy njugu karanga by the roadside, and sometimes it is unfortunate that people are even swindled because of something called ignorance. And part of this topic that we are going to discuss today, we are going also to talk about how do you transfer the cars that you buy from auctions, zile gari za kuchotwa, or cars that have been repossessed. Let me try use more of English because of our Ugandan friends who are watching us. And by the way, we are still going to come, and if you need our help in terms of voting, you have seen what is happening in Tanzania. You can always ask for our help. Anyway, okay, super chats, harmless level super chats are going to come, but in the meantime you can put in something on kama mnataka kutoa sadaka, kuna hiyo namba iko hapo. Nimesema story ya Pastor Nganga. So we are talking about car ownership. So if you buy a car from an auction, how do you do a forced transfer these days? How do you buy a car? Because again, as I said, cars are not njugu karanga. Mwezi kuwa mnanunua magari huku nje kama njugu, and you expect not to be swindled. I think how I should give the car buying process, especially let's assume you're buying a car off a showroom, and sometimes this is important because there are times you're going to find that cars are actually unregistered. So the first step towards buying that car is having to sign a legal agreement and getting an invoice for the car, so that hata ukienda bank there is going to be a paper trail. Sawa, are we together? And again, avoid buying cars at night. Leo tumeenda kufanya pre-purchase inspection mahali tulikuwa na Wangari na gari kwa picha inakaa safi, but ukiwasha torch hivyo unaona maneno ingine hapo. So we are talking about now buying cars. Always make sure that the document number one is the sale agreement. Make sure also you get a pro forma invoice. And now after the sale agreement, make sure that the dealer can transfer the car to you. However, if the car is not registered, the dealer might take some time before the transfer can be done to you, because the vehicle has to be registered, then the logbook has to be printed, then the physical number plate has, again, to be handed over and dispatched so that a transfer can be able to take place. So it's always very important to have a very important dealer going through the process. No, I think it's very important to have a very watertight sale agreement when you're going through the car buying process. Ni muhimu sana, because most people who are going to buy cars from Mombasa, you're going to buy them when they are unregistered. So it's always good to have that clear transfer process. If you're buying a car that has been repossessed, mind you, you're going to do what is called a forced transfer. And these days, a forced transfer is not as easy as it used to be earlier on. So for forced transfers in Kenya, what you have to do now is you have to take your vehicle for inspection. Okay, first thing is apply for a forced transfer. Secondly, you have to get a police tape lift. Third, you have to take your car for inspection, and then you upload all those documents, and then maybe the transfer will go through. But it is quite a hectic process, because with the new team system, you actually have to take a repossessed car or any car going through a forced transfer process for inspection. Na sijaielewa ni kwa nini watu wanaogopanga kupeleka magari inspection. Why do you fear taking your cars for inspection? The worst thing that could happen is gari kuanguka inspection. Hata pre-purchase tunafanya kila siku na magari zinaanguka. So anyway, it's always good to follow the due process. Kuna watu wanakuanga na shortcut, but again, be very wary of those shortcuts. So especially when you're buying a car. And this leaves the space open for any questions that are with regard to the car buying process. At Evelyn Jerry naona anasema kuna vile mimi naona nikaa JD juice gani inakaa hivi. Manze, hii ni flavor gani? Hii ni apple flavor. Si bale. Okay, then Karota Uganda, I'm laughing about the voting. Yes, we offer even voting services. If you want us to announce something on Twitter, on X, we can assist you announce things on X. But we love our neighbors anyway. Morioki Marigi is saying, next time don't drive that contraption on the highway. Strap it on a cruiser, and 6 hours you'll be in Nairobi. Morioki Marigi, experience is very important. It is very important. Just like, uh, it is good to know things and experience things, so that when we talk about range anxiety, you don't talk about it theoretically, you talk about it because you have experienced it. Dennis Katali is saying, give an insight between a Honda Fit non-hybrid and a Toyota Ractis Trizia, both 1500cc. Which one is a better buy? The Ractis is more spacious, but the Honda Fit is also equally reliable. Benson Otonda is saying, what is Benson saying? Hi Eric, I joined late today, tuned in from Zambezi. Is there an online way to check the car grade if the car dealer does not share an auction document but only shares a KEBS roadworthy certificate? Benson, there is a way to do that. If the car has been shipped from Japan or Australia or the UK, there are some websites whereby you can buy a report, and that report will give you the auction sheet. So yes, if the dealer does not provide the auction sheet, you can always buy that auction sheet from a reliable site in Japan. Mostly, I think, apart from Thailand, all the other countries have a database of their cars. So Australia, Japan, the UK. Tom, Singapore wako nayo? No, Singapore also don't have. Buying a car in Singapore is like playing poker. It's either you get a good one, a very good car, or a very bad car. There is no there is no gray area. They are both extremes. So yes, there is a way you can prompt that. I think there are several Japanese sites, there are Australian sites, there are UK sites, and they give you even the service history of that vehicle. So you are able to know when was this car last serviced. You're able to have even the nitty-gritties of what has been changed, if the car has had flooding damage, if the car has had, if the car was stolen for some strange reason. I remember there's a time we went to perform a pre-purchase inspection for the MP for Kandui. He was buying a certain Land Cruiser 200 series. That was a long time. It was a used vehicle which he was interested in buying. And after prompting a website in Australia, because that car was from Australia, it started by realizing some buttons on the center console are not working. So, and looking at the chassis, it was freshly painted. So after prompting a website from Australia, we realized that that vehicle had actually been written off as a result of fire. So ni gari ilikuwa imechomeka, and what happened is the car was shipped to Dubai, then shipped here. So it is always good to conduct those pre-purchase inspections, and also not only get, it's those reports will go for between 1,000 to 3,000 bob. If you're buying a car worth 2 million, I don't think 3,000 Kenya shillings should be really a big thing if you're doing some due diligence. Stephen Barungi is saying, I have imported 2 cars. Where is Stephen? Yeah, Stephen Barungi. I've imported 2 cars from Japan before an SBT, but all came with engine sludge. Why don't these guys disclose such issues in the auction report? Stephen Barungi, I think if you buy a good grade vehicle, it should not have engine sludge. Amaje, Tom? Yeah. I think somebody somewhere did not disclose the truth about that vehicle. So it's very important, and that's why I'm saying it's good also to buy these reports from those Japanese sites, because you get to have the insights of that vehicle, even the service history. So but in Kenya we normally say, even if you have imported a grade 5 car, make sure you just service the car, even if it's after a few thousand kilometers, if the oil is clean, so that you can start on a clean slate, and also you can be able to detect some of these things. But another thing I would like to ask Stephen is, if this vehicle is going to Uganda, I think Ugandans import vehicles that are a bit older, and with older vehicles, you must experience some of these things. You know, we Kenyans are importing newer cars. In fact, we are heading to importing zero mileage. So, but anyway, yeah. So it's, if you're, that was on a light note. If you're buying a vehicle, always buy those service reports as well, so that you can be able to have the actual inspections, the inspection reports, and even the, what we call, the auction sheets. And if you're in Uganda and you'd like some help when it comes to, importing quality cars, and you need that facilitation, we'll deliver the car to Kampala. We call it Champara. We can bring it all the way there. So that's something we have decided to go all in with Grande, because tumepata hizo requests mingi sana za Uganda. Let's move. Osman Roba is asking, what about those government vehicle auctions? Would you still follow the procedure with that of repossessed cars? So now, Osman, with the it's not with government vehicles, especially buying them from an auction, for you to transfer that vehicle to your name, there are some additional documents you would need. Number one, you would need the gazette notice for that auction. That is one. You cannot transfer without that one. You need the auction documents. You will need a letter from the auctioneer declaring you as the winner. You will need a certificate of deregistration after deregistering that car. If the car is not duty paid, you will need to go to KRA and pay duty, so that you're given the duty receipt. And then from there you can, and then bado hazijaisha, then you have to take that car. If that car has been, when you're buying a car on a government auction, there are those clauses that are normally there, that if the vehicle is sold as scrap, you will have a very hard time registering that car. But if the vehicle is sold as not economical to run, there is a term they use. Now that one, you have to take the vehicle for inspection to NTSA. As if that is not enough, there are some times, I have experienced times when you have to take that car to KEBS, and also to the chief mechanical engineer, depending on the condition of the car. So, and that's why buying cars from government auction is actually a very long process. Yeah, because at times it's going to be as easy as taking the car for auction. If the car had accident history, by the way, and you bought it off a government auction, and you bought it as a salvage in a government auction, you have to take it to the chief mechanical engineer, you have to take it to KEBS, and you have to take it for NTSA inspection. So those are three things that you really need to keep in mind to assure you. Okay, they have to make sure that the vehicle is roadworthy and it is structurally okay, especially if there was accident history. And that is the same process that you might be forced to go through if you buy an insurance salvage that has been deregistered. Sawa sawa. That was a good question, Bwana Osman. That was a very good question. Then Chief Kenyo is asking, Nissan e-Power, Nismo, or Demio Diesel? Hey, that's a question that would relate to personal taste. Iligetonga, hey Wakabi, is the Suzuki Swift RS Turbo any good? I'm looking for a small performance car that is reliable and efficient. Yes, a Suzuki Swift RS would, I think for the Turbo, yes, it's not a bad car. Josh Homan, here in America, there are services that provide vehicle history for a price. Carfax is one of the best known services. Yeah, Josh, that is actually true. And I believe there are such in Japan and also UK and Australia. Samuel Landati is saying, my friend bought a car 15 years ago. The seller relocated, haina logbook. What can he do? Insurance in third party online. Woo! yo unaanza wapi? I think that one you have to first of all go get an OB number. Secondly, you have to swear an affidavit. Then you have to do a tape lift. But I think you must have a copy of a logbook somewhere. If you have a copy of a logbook somewhere, then it's going to be very easy. But kama huna, itakuwa ngumu kidogo. So Beatrice Macau is asking, Mirage ubaya wake considering is at my first car. Mirage hainanga mashida mingi. It's only that it's a small car for moving from point A to point B, not very fast. But it's a good car. Sikabaya, sikagari kabaki kabaya. Kenneth Irungu. Kenneth Irungu is tuned in from Juja. And between a Toyota Fielder and an Auris, which one would you recommend for a newly married couple with a budget of 800,000? Now, I presume a newly married couple does not have children. So yes, an Auris would be a good buy because it's a bit stylish. You know, you will be driving a Fielder and people will be thinking that that is your second wife. Unajua sasa Fielder inakuonyeshanga kwa picha ingine. If you're a youthful person, go for the Auris. The Fielder inakuwekanga ka state kengine hapo. So Mariah Kimani is saying, VP Eric, how can I install roof rails on a smooth roof Platana? I need extra luggage space. However you will be advised to install them, just make sure usitoboe body. Sababu ukitoboa body and then it rains, rust starts accumulating huko ndani, it's normally very ugly. So I believe there are some roof racks that do not have to be bolted onto the roof. There are some that have some very innovative way of actually bolting them on. Jim Dukes is saying, hello Okabi, kindly compare 2019 Arteon with the 2019 W205 in terms of the reliability, comfort, and issues related with each. Now, that's a very interesting comparison because the Arteon, I would say it would really narrow down to personal tastes and preferences because the Arteon is very stylish, very sporty, very youthful. But if we talk about the W205, it's still youthful, but the Arteon is bigger, it's sportier, it's more of a performer. Both are nice European cars, but the Arteon has got the looks. But you know, the Arteon is not a car that you would expect somebody who is the age of 40 something to be driving. If you're 40 something, you know, a W205. Oscar Wills Escapades is saying, if I want to buy a car in Sudan or Tanzania to Kenya, what are the requirements documents? First of all, Oscar, if the car is older than the year of manufacture 2018, it will not be allowed into the country. If the car is 2018 and newer, you will have to go through this process. Process number 1, you have to deregister the car from Tanzania and Uganda. And you have to have that deregistration certificate kwa mkono. Number 2, you have to get something called a police clearance certificate to ascertain that that vehicle is not stolen. Then after that, you will have to take that car for quality inspection in the Kenyan side, and then from there you will move on to the KRA side where they'll do some verification and tell you the amount of duty you're going to pay for this car. Na gari itapewa number plate mpya. But if the vehicle is older than 2018, there is no way that that vehicle is going to be allowed into the country. And if it is allowed into the country, staying with it here is going to be termed as illegal. Sawa? Not unless you are a returning resident. And even for returning residents, the only thing they are allowed is to get the car's new registration hapa. So if you see cars moving around with foreign plates, either uko na temporary import permit, which only lasts at a certain particular period of time. And you see, even with a temporary import permit, it's either you are a resident of Uganda but a citizen of Kenya, or a resident of whichever country, but you are not allowed to be in the country with a temporary import permit. Na uko unatembeza gari tu for no, there are rules and regulations. Sawa sawa. Piety Nibs anasema, hello Eric and team. Good work Eric and team. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Cute Orange Cheetah anasema, hey Eric, with a CK. Manze mi niko Kampala and I'm driving an SG5 2002 non-turbo. Hii gari at times ina smoke, then wakati ingine it doesn't. Paka na kamnayo hii kuna ujanja unaweza niokolea. Yes, ujanja iko hapo, inaweza sotiwa na Bwana Suleiman, because your car probably needs an engine overhaul, which is pretty straightforward. What's the color of the smoke? If it's bluish, then it definitely needs an engine overhaul. We proceed to Chesire. Chesire is asking, Jambo Eric, talk about the Land Cruiser, the Land Rover Defender TDI 300 and Puma government vehicles on auction. TDI 300s are they are bulletproof vehicles. Land Rovers are basically nice. The problem is siku hizi zinanunuliwa at very inflated prices. Then that is due to demand. But these Land Rover Defenders are generally good cars. The one with the Puma engine is the one that can be a bit harsh on you. But if you're getting the one with a 300 TDI, it was a very good engine that would serve you well, even in spite of the leakages that the vehicle has. Tuendelee. Vince Brian, the NV200, is it possible to turn to a family car? Ile design ya Delica with captain seats. Yes, it is very possible. It is very possible, but there is a disclaimer though. Make sure that that car is 7-seater and below, because ikipanda above from 7-seater, it will be declared a commercial vehicle or PSV. Sawa sawa. Samuel Mugai, hey Wakabi, what about Honda Modulo X SS60? Hii si ni bike. Modulo ni bike. Tom, I think the Honda Modulo is a bike or something. I'm not sure. No, it's not a bike. Well, the bike has a different name. I think the Modulo bana, before ikuje Kenya, tutakaa ama toa muta import. Tutakaa. Modulo tutakaa. Rogers Kemboy, hello Kabi, what do you think about the Toyota Surf 1992 with a 2LT engine? That vehicle is unkillable. Samuel Mungai, pole, nilikuwa kuna bike fulani inakaribia hiyo jina, bike enthusiast, but the Modulo is the Honda Modulo is kanaka it's a sporty two-door car, right? Nimekosea Tom, I think it's quite a it's not very common. So again, I have to admit I don't know much about it, but yeah. Nicholas Gedenji, Eric Udasike, I got a quick one. Would you go for a CX5 diesel or the 2500cc turbo or the Subaru X-Brake? If you compare the CX5 2500cc turbo with the X-Brake, it will be an unfair comparison. Hello Eric, between a 2006 Premier 240 and the Subaru Impreza GG2 2007, which one would you advise somebody to buy? I would not advise you to buy a GG2, buy the 2006 Premier. Ted Mathai said, I would like to intern with you and your crew if possible. Unpaid is fine. Wangari wa magari? Hiyo unasema nini? Unataka intern? Tutaongea hiyo maneno, Ted will tutaongea that about that with the team internally. Chepkemoi Masi, loud and clear from Mombasa. Nice work Wakabi and team. Thank you so much, Chepkemoi Masi. Who else? Let me see who else is okay. There's somebody who is asking about a Honda Civic, Piety Ribs. Can you get, hey na guys bana, tumieni majina rahisi. Unajua kuna majina mtu ana take 5 seconds ama 10 seconds kusoma. So yeah, Honda Civic, can I get one locally used without breaking the bank? Yes, but hey, Civics are few, but depending on which generation you want to get, yes, I believe it's very possible. Justus Guaro Mangangi, hello, what is the price range of a Serena e-Power you imported? Uko fiti man. Thank you so much Justus. Tom, hiyo gari ililand na pesa ngapi total? Around, okay, it's one thing about the Serena e-Power, it's one of the most affordable minivans right now in the Kenyan market. And the one we sourced was a high trim level, it was a highway star, very good mileage, a grade 4.5, and it landed at 2 million or thereabout. Yeah, and the Noahs are going for 2.4, 2.3. Yeah, and it's, in terms of performance, it's a very good car. If you have time, na uko around this area, Garden City, or if you're in Nairobi, you can come see the car from Friday. You'll be able to see the car. It's going to be at the Grande Motor Imports premises. tuendelee. Let me see. Okay, Jim Dukes is saying, do we have any Mazda 6 2019 model that is manual? Would you recommend it? Yes, we have. We have those manuals that are on auctions. It's a nice car. Carota, I'm really enjoying the live broadcast. Thank you so much, Carota. Muthali John, hello Eric. Which is ideal for a fast car owner? Toyota Premio versus Honda Accord versus Atenza. Kindly advise. On that scale, I would go for the Mazda Atenza. Thank you so much, Muthali John. The Mazda is quite a looker. It's quite reliable. You are not going to struggle with parts, even the body parts. Yeah. So personally, I would go with the Mazda Atenza. Justus Gwaro Mangangi is saying, thank you, I'm eyeing. Munene Mike, hey Eric, juzi nimewatch interview yako ya last year na Dr. Kingori, ulisema Kenyans tuache kubuy gari na emotions. So you mean tusibuy gari tunapenda ama? Tusibuy gari na emotions inamaanisha, you see, even when you, and to explain this, I have to use terms that we can relate with. Even when you're selecting a life partner, you need to do it not with emotions, because you will never eat love. You have to do it also with using a little bit of logic. So yes, love is important, but again, logic should come first. Unajua wanasema love is blind, alafu mnasema mnaona mapenzi yenu ikienda fa haiwezi kuwa. Anyway, so even with cars, sometimes you will find somebody, and we have seen this situation even internally with the team here. Somebody will just buy a car because, especially this affects the ladies. The ladies are the ones who mostly buy cars emotionally. So you'll find there is a better quality car that is probably gray in color, but they opt to buy a vehicle that is worse just because it's wine red. So there is it's what we call emotions coming first. And again, do not buy a car. You see, buying a car emotionally is also buying a car because I have seen so and so has bought a Mazda CX-5, so I also want to have a Mazda CX-5 so that I can fit in. No, maybe a Mazda CX-5 will not be of help to you. The first question before you buy a car is, do I want a car or do I need a car? Once you answer that question, you have now to go to the second stage of considering which car to buy. Do you want function over form or form over function? Because you see, you cannot tell a farmer who has a shamba in a place like which are the remote places here in Nairobi. No, let's even go outside Nairobi. You cannot tell a farmer who has a shamba somewhere in Narok huko ndani, umwambie anunue Mercedes Benz W205 akuwa anaenda kutembea nayo shamba, utakuwa unampoteza. But if they were to buy a car with the same budget that is versatile enough to be used on the road and also to go for farm visits, you can probably go for a Toyota Hilux, which is probably the same budget. That is why I tell you, I'm saying, do not buy a car emotionally. Also, unasikianga mtu wamesema, again, there is this funny craze about sunroofs. You see, someone will let a car go because it does not have a sunroof. Well, it is your money and we work hard for it. But let me ask, how many times in a year do you use the sunroof? Maybe you will have a car that has a sunroof and you will probably not use it. You see, some of these features in cars are as useless as EA in T. So sometimes it's good to, first of all, think about how functional a car is before you start getting all emotional. Unless you have umefika ile level inaitwa self-actualization. Are we together on that? Tuendelee. Okay. Kuna Steven Motua anauliza, Steven Motua is asking, hiyo range iko kwa meza naweza ipata wapi? Hii range inaitangwa Range Rover. It is our pet car here. Na hii gari unaweza patiwa na Tom wa Grande Motor Imports. Ukikuja uimport na gari. By the way, if you import a car with Grande right now, I'm assuring you that you are going to get a free Range Rover. So every car comes with a free Range Rover. Okay. Um, who else? Let me look. Let me see. Who I'm looking for. Okay. Tech. Sema VP Eric, ile mambo ya Clutchnik ulisema aje? Clutch, I remember nilikuwa nafikiria Clutchnik niliona wapi? Kumbe niliona kwa email yangu. Tutaongea hiyo maneno. Sawa sawa. It would be a very good and a very interesting product. Let me see any other import. Wakabi, no. Okay. Oh, Samuel was asking, is the Honda Modulo X S600, is it reliable? We do not have one in Kenya. I do not want to speak out of hearsay. So, this day experience, so hapo sijui. John Kagosing was asking, niliona the 2026 RAV4 6th edition Premier. All I can say is gari itabaki kuwa Toyota. Yes. And I said, there's a review we had of the Toyota Corolla Sport, and I said that TNGA is probably the best thing that ever happened at Toyota. Here for 2025. By the 2026, you guys can muingie pale online and look for that. The 2026 RAV4. That vehicle is quite a looker. And I believe there is a full electric available. There is a hybrid, and there is a plug-in hybrid. Yeah, so it's quite a looker. Go look at it. Vince Bryan is saying tuned in from Kirinyaga. Vipi bwana CK? Niko sawa kabisa. Bwana Vince Bryan. Uko Kirinyaga wapi bwana Vince Bryan? So let me see. Any other question? Okay. Beatrice Macau, nani hakuna maswali, hata 9 inafika. Oh, okay. Very nice. Silva Biarugaba, this fellow from Uganda. Very soon, after you go to Uganda, I'll be pronouncing these names very, 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 very easily. So Silva is asking, hello Eric with a CK, can I buy a scrapped 2012 purposes? A scrapped 2012. Which model? For spares in Kampala? Yes, you can always. Actually, I think with it's possible to chop a car in Japan and ship it as spares, the whole of it. It's very possible. I believe even Tom and our clearing agents will be able to advise you on how to go about that. It's very much possible. Josenderi, hey Wakabi, what's the realistic price of range of a Mazda Axela hatchback petrol 2017? I'm looking for one. The 2018s are going for slightly above 2 million, so the 2017s should be from 1.8 million. But the funny thing is, you see the price that you will get for a 2017 Mazda Axela hatchback used locally is the same price you're going to get if you import a 2018 one with us. Ama aje Tom? So hakuna haja ya kununua 2017 locally used. You'd rather funga macho for 2 months and wait for a good quality car that you're going to start on in a clean slate. So Ben is saying Nissan cars have become better now that there is a merger on the works with Toyota. Well, we are still far from there. Nissan actually is on the verge of closure. Rubitech is saying, hey Eric, Mercedes-Benz W124 300E. Oh yes, Pole. W214 300E hybrid, a great buy. It's the 214s are actually, Benz is actually good cars, and you know, by the time you are thinking of buying a 214, you should be at a point in life where reliability should not be a very big deal, because that is a car maybe uko na zingine kama mbili ama tatu, so it's a ceremonial car or a car that you daily, and if you're going off road you have another one. So with a 214, it's an okay buy. If you're a Mercedes-Benz purist, I would not have any, because pia anyone who is buying a W214 should not be, a W214 should not be worried about the cost of spares. So yes, I'll tell you it's a good buy. Clifford Anthony is asking between VW Touareg V6 4.2, V6 3.6 petrol, and TDI V6 2012, which one would you recommend? Now that's a very difficult question because the choice would be dependent on your driving habits and your vehicle needs. Yeah, because the diesels would work pretty well if you do long trips, because they are economical and their performance is amazing if you're going on long trips. Peter Wambo is saying considering time and all that. Peter, okay. Yes, okay, Peter. Okay, okay. Peter, just drop a message on the number on the screen, that is 0710 844 863. And WM is asking which old RAV4 model is affordable and suitable for a fairly new driver. Now, WM, that is very dependent on your budget. Peter Wamboi from Japan to Kenya. Now, Peter Wamboi, the realistic time of importation is 2 months or slightly less. So I don't think it's much time, considering that you're importing, you're getting an asset that is close to 2 million Kenya shillings. So that would be the feedback I would give you. Na sijaona hii nini ya Tycoon 001, and Tycoon 001 ni fan. Vince Brian ambia Mark 2 all the way. Hebu nitatafuta hiyo comment yake. Who else do we have here? You have Fluxtech Solutions. Hey Eric, talk about the KRA will be calculating taxes now that they are phasing out the CRSP. In fact, this new system will be live from July, and next Wednesday, we are going to have Tom here, and we are going to analyze that new vehicle taxation system, ndio tuweze kuielewa, tujue whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, na pia tuweze kuwa tumeanalyze, tujue tutacheza aje nayo, ujanja itaingilia wapi, si ndio? So next Wednesday, tune in, because that is going to be one of the things that one of the segments that we are going to have on our Wednesday Konnekt Live end month edition. Tuko pamoja. Edward saying, hello Mr. Okabi, what do you think of Y61 Nissan Patrol, maybe 2007? Is it a good first time for a landing enthusiast? It's a perfect car as long as it does not come with a ZD30 engine. Nonisoni, kwa nini? Why are you typing while deleting? Bana, unajua sasa ukiona message iko deleted you even get scared. Sanga mtu alikuwa anasema nini? Nonisoni, please tuandika hiyo message tuone ni aje. And I can see Masaya News imefika. Thank you guys for tuning in on our Konnekt Live mid-month Brisk. And kama kawaida, this is one of my favorite segments. Now, before we sign out, we are going to have another very interesting episode coming up very soon. And that actually, we are going to have a few changes on our programming. So you're going to be seeing more content. We are going to add an episode midweek. So guys, wait for the midweek episode, and we're also going to have the kawaida Monday episode. At least tulikuwa tumechukua a break from the reviews kidogo, watu watulie kidogo, tupumzike, but na pia tuweze kumaliza kudeliver hizi magari. Thank you so much for the overwhelming support. So yes, we are going to have new content. We have a podcast coming up. So we have a podcast, we have a review, and we have a sit down insightful video. So yeah, content inaendelea to grow, and that is because we want you to continue enjoying the channel, getting informed through the channel, and most importantly, growing with us, because it is through you that we have grown all the way to 50,000 subscribers. And all we can say is thank you so much, asante sana, and more to come. We are not going to let you down. Tutaendelea kuwaletea content motomoto na pia kuwasaidia kwa issue zote za magari. I've been your host Eric Okabi, Eric with a CK, and till next Wednesday, see ya.